The sun was just rising over the endless Texas plains when 19-year-old Jack Carter opened the wooden door of his tiny ranch house. He owned three things: an old cowboy hat, a tired horse named Thunder, and $27 in his pocket. Jack had grown up on a poor cattle ranch. His father had died when he was 12, leaving his mother struggling to keep the ranch alive. By 19, Jack had learned everything a cowboy needed to know. How to ride, how to rope cattle, how to survive storms, and how to work from sunrise until dark. But Jack wanted more. Not because he wanted expensive cars or a giant mansion. He wanted to save his family's ranch. One summer morning, a wealthy cattle owner named Mr. Anderson arrived at the ranch. "I'll give you $40,000 for this land," he said. Jack's mother looked at him. It was tempting. But Jack shook his head. "No, sir." Anderson laughed. "Boy, this land is worth almost nothing." Jack looked across the dry fields. "Maybe today," he replied. "But I don't think it will always be." Anderson drove away. Jack had an idea. He had noticed something most people had ignored. A small stream ran through the far end of their property, and the soil there was unusually fertile. Jack believed he could turn the land into a profitable cattle and horse operation. But there was one problem. He had no money. So Jack left the ranch and found work wherever he could. He repaired fences during the day. He broke wild horses in the afternoon. At night, he worked in a roadside diner. Every dollar he earned went into an old metal box beneath his bed. For 2 years, Jack saved. Finally, he had $18,000. Instead of buying a new truck, he bought 10 young cattle. Then 20. Then 50. He studied animal nutrition, land management, and cattle markets every night. People laughed at him. "You're just a cowboy," they told him. Jack smiled. "That's exactly why I understand cattle." 3 years later, his small herd had grown dramatically. But Jack didn't stop there. He began selling premium beef directly to restaurants instead of selling his cattle cheaply to middlemen. His profits increased. Then he saw another opportunity. Jack started raising and training high-quality ranch horses. His reputation spread across Texas. Soon wealthy ranchers were traveling hundreds of miles to buy his horses. At 26, Jack bought his first neighboring ranch. At 29, he owned 5 ranches. At 32, he founded Carter Western, a company selling ranch equipment, boots, saddles, and premium Western clothing. His company became famous across America. One evening, Jack stood on the balcony of his new home overlooking thousands of acres of green pasture. His accountant handed him a report. "Congratulations," she said. Jack looked at the number. His net worth had officially passed $1 million. For a moment, he said nothing. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his old cowboy hat. The same hat he'd worn when he had only $27. His mother walked onto the balcony. "Are you happy?" she asked. Jack smiled. "I was happy when I had $27. She laughed. "Then why did you work so hard?" Jack looked across the land. "Because I didn't want money to decide what my family could become." Years later, people would tell stories about Jack Carter, the cowboy who became a millionaire. But Jack always corrected them. "I didn't become rich because I was lucky," he would say. "I became rich because I learned to see opportunity where everyone else saw empty land." And whenever young cowboys asked him for his secret, Jack would point toward the horizon. Work hard. Learn every day. Take calculated risks. And never let anyone convince you that your beginning determines your ending. The boy who once rode across the dusty plains with $27 had become a millionaire. But deep inside, he was still the same young cowboy chasing the sunrise.